folks, Joe Mull here with a little conversation about something that I think we need to do as leaders right now to really meet our employees where they are in the midst of a really uncertain and challenging time. I work with leaders all over the country, helping them become better bosses and build stronger teams. And specifically, we talk a lot about creating the conditions that lead people at work to thrive. But the reality is that these conditions are something that have changed dramatically in the midst of this crisis. We, I think, as leaders are still managing our expectations about what people can reasonably accomplish against the way things were 3 months ago. And that's a world that doesn't exist anymore. I've had a lot of conversations with leaders lately about some of the frustrations that they've had related to people not being as productive at work as they could be, some fears and concerns from leaders that for people who are working from home, are they really being as productive as they say they are? Are they really giving as much time and effort as they are leading others to believe? And the truth is that in the midst of what is a once in a century kind of crisis, I think we need to dramatically reset our expectations about what people can reasonably accomplish in their jobs right now. And I'm telling you, as a leader, this is something that if you're able to do this, you're going to strengthen the relationships you have with your employees, and you're going to sleep better at night. And I think the best way that I've come up with to illustrate this is with a little drawing. So if you'll go with me right now, we're going to pop over here to our flip chart. And I want you to think about what a day in the life was like for most of your employees prior to being quarantined or having to work from home. If you think about an average day, we had folks who would get up in the morning and they would shower and get ready for their day. And that's a little chunk of time. And then maybe they're getting their kids off to school, getting them dressed, getting them fed, and that's another little chunk of time. Maybe they exercise first in the morning, and after getting the kids off to school, maybe then they got themselves showered and dressed. And then they have a commute, and then they get to work. And when they get to work, they have their 7 or 8 hours of time dedicated solely to their role. And then when that workday is over, they have a commute again. After the commute, they get home, and what are we doing? Maybe we're helping our kids with their homework. Then we're preparing dinner. If your house is anything like mine, there's laundry. And maybe if you're lucky, the kids go to bed easily and quickly, or maybe that's when you do a couple of other things on the computer or around the house, or maybe you just set aside some time for meditation or reading or yoga or Netflix, whatever you do in the evenings to take care of you, that all exists at the end of the day. So if you think about life before coronavirus, this was sort of the way that our days would divide up and flow. Not true for everyone, but the point is we would have these things that we would move through. Now let's think about what a day in the life of one of your employees is like. The truth is, for your employees, most everything is happening all at the same time at home. If you've got a house full of kids that you're trying to manage doing schoolwork, that's happening in here at the same time that you're trying to get on your computer and participate in a Zoom meeting. When you're trying to run the laundry because people are at home and you're staying on top of the chores. Nobody's going to restaurants anymore, so if you're like me, you're probably doing a lot more dishes and a lot more food prep. Oh, and then over here was that other project that you're supposed to be working on, or those calls you were supposed to be making for work. All of those things are mixed in here now. Everything that needs to happen is filling up this space. The point of the illustration is to recognize what is now absent. Over here, we had a huge block of time that was dedicated solely to focusing on our work. And when we are able to have all of these other things in our daily lives set aside for a time in the middle of the day and completely isolate our thinking and our effort on our work, we're able to engage or achieve a certain level of productivity. This is gone now. This dedicated time that is solely about work for a lot of folks isn't there anymore. And what we have to add to this box now are all the struggles and the fears that people are dealing with.
A lot of the folks that we've worked with across the country are dealing with some really heavy stuff. They're worried about their elderly parents, or they're dealing with a family member who's immunocompromised. They're trying to manage a business, and they're worried about their furloughed employees. They have doctors who are texting or calling at all hours of the day and night, asking questions and expecting an immediate, urgent response in the midst of all of this chaos over here. As someone who has a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old who are homeschooling right now, and while trying to keep a 3.5-year-old busy enough that he doesn't bother them, being able to be on point and respond to people at the drop of a hat is nearly impossible for me right now. And I'm betting it's nearly impossible for your folks as well. The point is, I think we need to dramatically lower our expectations of what people's productivity and engagement look like right now, because this dedicated time doesn't exist anymore.
One of the things that we need to do as leaders is to remember that most of the time, the people on our teams are good people. If you can move to a place where you tell yourself that the people on my teams are good people doing the very best that they can in a really crazy time, most of the time, you're going to sleep better at night. I don't want you to assume deceit. I don't want you to assume malice, that people are getting away with something. I want you to go the other way. I encourage you to think of the folks on your team as doing the very best they can with what they've got to deal with right now. And what that means for you is you're ratcheting up the trust. You're increasing the trust that you're giving to the people around you, that they are doing the very best that they can right now. If you can tweak your expectations about what people are able to produce and contribute right now, because there's all this other noise and clutter and intense stuff going on, you're going to end up giving them and yourselves even more grace than you probably are right now. I think that's a key thing for leaders to do right now in this day and age, and I think it'll help you sleep better at night as well. Ratchet up the trust, give grace, and maybe lower your expectations about what people can accomplish. On behalf of everyone here at my company, Joe Mull & Associates, I'm so grateful for everything that you are doing on the front lines right now to take care of so many people. Thank you for all of it. You truly are heroes. Thanks for having me.